Well, we made it to the weekend, and you made it through a baseball game.
Survival.
You did survive.
Actually, I didn't think it was that bad. It was warmer at 9 o'clock when I left the field than it was at 2:30 when I arrived.
Wow. Because it was raining and snowing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff about 2 o'clock.
It actually wasn't too bad. I mean, I had 3 layers on just to stay warm, but got to get out there and play.
And you did?
And we did. Both baseball and softball, home openers yesterday in front of still a pretty decent crowd. It was funny because it looked like there were 800 people there with all the cars. A few brave souls hung out for the duration, but you would see kind of like this mass exodus of when we hit, everybody would come down the hill to the fence. And then when we went back on the field from where they were strategically parked, they could see everything.
Yeah.
So they go back up into the cars and watch us in the field. And then if their kid was hitting, you'd see moms come running down the hill. And
that's fun. But, you do whatever you have to do to get a baseball game in this time of year.
Because I was just looking, and starting Monday, 4 doubleheaders in the next 7 days from the 1st through the 8th.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
And then like another one on the 11th or 10th or something like that. So
how are you guys going to be able to hold up? That's a lot of baseball.
We are going to find out. A lot of questions will be answered. Baseball-wise, lost both of them. Close, though, competitive. 5-1 in the first game, and that really came down to 1 or 2 minor mistakes that cost us a couple of runs, just situations that you can't get out of. And 10-6 the second game. So a lot like Mackinac City, low-scoring pitchers duel. They scratch off a couple of runs late to win the first game, and then both offenses kind of come and go. Second game was really exciting. We were down 5-0.
And you made a charge back, huh?
Scored 6 straight runs.
That's exciting.
In the 5th inning to go up 6-5, and then got down 8-6, held them off, and then late they pushed it to 10-6. So not too bad. 4 games in, we basically restarted the season yesterday, and we've had a chance to win all 4. Still seeing some pretty good development. A couple other guys stepped up and played really well for us yesterday that haven't had a chance. Told the kids to leave the stuff. We're moving out of the gym. We'll deal with Mother Nature and practices the rest of the way. And if we have to go inside real quick at the start of a practice for our throwing stuff, we will. But got to get outside and start seeing some real live pitching off of a machine and off of other players, because our timing is just a little bit off. But great energy, great excitement yesterday. We debuted our brand new bat boy, Jace Suriano. For those around the community that know Jace, they see him in a lot of the events. He's coming out and whipping those boys into shape. And
putting them to work.
That's why they played so well yesterday. Ladies played too. I know both were competitive for them. They were up against the defending state semifinalist Lady Panthers, who have another talented squad this year, but haven't gotten the full report on their games, but we'll have the recaps of that. And hopefully Monday's doubleheader against the Sioux scheduled for here, but
I think I've seen some snow in the forecast.
You have. You're not making it up.
I'm not making it up.
You said it, not me. But yeah, they're calling for high 30s to low 40s with strong winds and rain and snow mix. And the conversation at the field yesterday was how awesome it would be if somebody built a dome in the Eastern UP that we could.
Hint.
Yeah. So if anybody out there's got like billions of dollars, come find me. I will definitely help as much as I can with everything except building it.
Right. Well, I know you play to win.
Yeah.
But when you keep it close and keep it competitive, I know you guys got to be excited about that. Right?
Yeah. Definitely. That's where I get caught up, is because we've been better than probably I thought in the first 2 doubleheaders. But then you look back and you go, boy, you know, you tell them before the game, hey, whatever happens, happens. We're going to be okay with it. Good, bad, indifferent. We're going to learn from it and get better. Then you look back and you go, boy, if we could just, you know, if we would have just made this play,
did this or this or that,
we would have tried this instead of this. I told the guys after the game, really proud of the effort. Don't worry about the record. Record says we're 0-4, but we have played well enough where we could very easily be 4-0, and that's not crazy. If we played these 4 games the way that we did later in the season with a little bit more experience, we probably come away with those wins. So very pleased. We head into the biggest probably stretch, I know, baseball-wise, toughest stretch. Sioux on Monday, and then Thursday we get Rudyard. Everybody knows how good their baseball program is. They were in the state semifinals. We're an out away from being in the state championship game last year. And then Saturday next weekend, May 6th, we have our home tournament for both baseball and softball. Games will start at 9 a.m. There'll be full concession stands. Again, no entry fee. If you want to make a little donation to both programs, I know that'll greatly be appreciated, because the only problem with having 4 games at a facility on a day in a tournament is you got to pay 4 pairs of umpires, and you go through a chunk of game balls. But there's an entry fee for the other teams that helps offset that, so we don't have to charge people to get in. I know baseball, we're going to do a little 50-50 during each game. But come on out. Hopefully it looks like it's going to warm up late next week, unless that's changed again. By warm up, I mean like we might see 50. It's not going to get hot, but always a fun day. That's kind of been a long-standing tradition here that we've been able to bring back in the past couple of years. So I know baseball, we have the Sioux JV, Marquette JV, and Bark River Harris coming to town. Girls have, let's see, I want to say Bark River, Manistee, probably, I think a St. Ignace or a Brimley or a Superior Central. So it'll be a fun day. Come on out. And then Monday, May 8th, we'll have a parents' night and senior night for baseball when we take on Brimley. So a big next 10 days.
A lot of baseball.
We go from not playing to playing a ton, and hopefully we can
hang on to your ball caps, right? Yeah. So I have a question. You were saying something about game balls. Are you allowed to use game balls again? Say like the game you played yesterday, you used a certain amount of game balls.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
You can take those. We went through six game balls yesterday.
Okay.
So brand new out of the box at the start.
Yeah.
At the start of the second game, we give each pitcher a fresh game ball. Recycle those other 4.
Okay.
So we try to use 4 per game, and then throw in 2 more fresh ones for the start of the second game. Rotate 2 bad ones out, so we at least always have 4 going. With the thick woods behind our field, we lose them. But yes, at the end of the day, if the ball is still in good enough shape, it becomes what you call a second.
Okay.
Which is like a backup if you run out or if you're using too many. We used 6 balls. 4 of them went back in the boxes as seconds. The other 2 that aren't deemed game worthy, maybe part of the cover scuffed or the laces get dinged up, or in the weather yesterday got a little too waterlogged.
Get wet.
We throw those in the bucket and keep those as practice balls.
You know, there's always something new to learn about baseball. I had no clue that
$6 for a dozen. That's the cost on. So,
and I bet most people don't know the cost of baseballs either.
You try to get out, and we had 6 kids on the bench during the game yesterday, and their number one duty was go find the foul ball.
So did you have MHSAA balls?
No. No, we did not.
They're on their way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We little delay in the supply chain, I guess. But we did use same. I mean, we used an official baseball.
Yeah.
It just had a different stamp on it.
Different logo.
American Legion game baseball, which is the same regulation and everything. So, tip of the cap to, I never thought I'd say this, Jerry Cook, who's kind of the lead baseball, softball umpire. He came in, he understood the situation. He said a baseball's a baseball.
Oh, so he was on good behavior.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
he goes, baseballs are baseballs, and I know $80-some a dozen. He guessed 81.
Okay.
I go,
in the ballpark.
You're close, but 86 with the shipping. He was fine with it, and Pickford was fine with it. I'll tell you this, that Pickford talked about their track team on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Their track team's still undefeated.
Still.
Start the season.
Good for them.
But their baseball team, very, very fundamentally sound and well coached. And that was the difference in the game yesterday, is situationally and on the bases, they did some things that, like, I went back to the dugout and I scribbled some notes on and sent Mike Collins, their former AD, who's an assistant coach, sent him a couple of messages after the game and even today. Just looking for some feedback on us and on some of the things that they were doing. We had a pitcher on the mound yesterday that they were like 3/4 of the way down to third base, stealing it, or second or third base, stealing it, and I can't pick up what they're picking up on. So
that's good that you guys can talk and get tips and pointers from one another.
They're done. They beat us. They got their 2 wins. So
the least they can do is help you out that way.
Yeah, we don't play them again in the regular season. And we talked about setting up some scrimmages because they're young and we're mostly young. And but gave me a point. And when I think back now it's something that I can remember seeing, but not quite picking up on until after the game.
Okay.
So very good, solid group. That was the difference in the baseball games yesterday, is on a cold day with really good young pitching on both sides. Ball wasn't flying a lot.
Yeah.
They were able to manufacture some runs on the base paths and in some situations. So that made the difference.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, let's switch topics altogether. We will talk about something that's going on in the eastern side of the UP. Cedarville DeTour.
That's right.
They came back together.
All is good for now. I'm going to be curious moving forward to see if some of these feelings that have festered up on both sides calms down.
Right.
Cedarville had a special board meeting Tuesday night. Of course, they voted to dissolve the co-op with DeTour. The previous week, there was a town hall meeting last Sunday that I was able to attend and film. It's up on the EUP Sports Network. I would guess between 300 and 400 people probably there at that town hall meeting. Heard there was a pretty big crowd. They moved the school board meeting back into the gym. And from pictures that I saw and talking with a couple other media guys that were there, another big crowd came out, and the board voted 6-1 to
extend it, right?
Reinstate the co-op. There was some concern about, if we want this co-op to work, and the communities clearly want the co-op, and the kids want the co-op, and the schools want the co-op, we can't keep doing this year-to-year thing of and we got to be more open with the communication. So I know they're going to do some different things with the committees. The leadership at both schools has pledged and committed to spending more time engaged in discussions. So at the administrative level, they're aware of some of the concerns at the committee and the parent level. And they did vote to extend it, so it'll now run through the 2024-2025 school year. That gives them 2 years to, now we can sit down and evaluate. Here's our problems. Here's how we're going to try to fix them. Here's what's worked. Here's what hasn't worked. And I would guess that they'll hopefully be able now to sustain
because these two schools need one another.
They do.
Because
That's
if this
where they're
co-op
at.
dissolves, then both sides suffer.
They don't have enough numbers on either side to maintain a program. They can have teams, but you're putting 8th graders in varsity competition.
You're pulling people from all corners to try to field the team.
Football would be next to impossible because you can't put an 8th grader on the field with a senior.
Right.
And both, but that was the agreement when they came together. That's what made it so ideal is we need the numbers to maintain a football program that's co-opt for several years. But one school didn't have enough, boys. One school kind of didn't have enough girls. Instead of cutting programs, this was a way they saved it for everybody. And I can tell you from watching them in different sports and different activities, they have been able to thrive.
Yeah.
Their boys basketball program has like 42 kids in it. Those two schools on their own would struggle to put a varsity team on the court. Certainly one that wouldn't be competitive.
Yeah.
Now, in the long run, they're going to be better because they've got a full varsity, a full JV, and then they took the bottom half of their JVs and were able to play freshman basketball. Which for people in Newberry, we canceled our freshman basketball teams after the 2003-2004 school year. I was the last freshman class that had freshman sports.
Yeah.
And then a JV and a varsity. So, I mean, you're talking, it's been 20 years since most schools in the UP, and they've been, so.
Yeah.
Their numbers are great there. Their numbers are solid all the way down in the girls' basketball program. Their volleyball teams are very solid. Their football teams are on the rise back up. So, like you said, they need it from an athletic department standpoint. A lot of benefits. It was interesting hearing from the students at the town hall meeting about how this has impacted them. Different families who, when they're looking for opportunities, are looking at extracurriculars as, a spot. Are you going to move to a district that doesn't offer athletic programs and extracurriculars, or are you going to enroll your students somewhere where they have opportunities? So I think they made the right decision, personally. It also helps out the rest of the conference because now they know for the next year, 2 years for sure, that the schedules that they've spent so much time kind of reorganizing and rebuilding that are really working out well. We're not traveling super far in football anymore. Teams don't got to go on these 4 or 5 hour long excursions to the west end of the UP. Basketball, I don't think Engadine went any further south than Pellston. Newberry didn't go any further south than Sheboygan, but that was a conference game, but played the rest of their schedule. Didn't go further west than Munising or Manistee. So kept everything within an hour to, an hour and a half.
And that's
in
nice.
the Eastern UP. So
real nice.
It benefits, benefits kind of the region as a whole. So 6-1 vote, originally 5-2 to dissolve it. So a lot of turnaround on that vote.
I'm glad that they're
here to stay for a little bit.
Yeah, they opened up the conversation, and some people had a change of heart. Yep. Anything else that we
big track meet this weekend? Webb Morrison Invitational.
In Pickford.
In Pickford tomorrow. It's going to be a little soggy, going to be a little bit cold. Their day to kind of suffer through things. But kind of always been a premier event. It's the first time that a lot of schools will have scheduled a full thing of events. The indoor meets, you can't do things like discus or pole vault and I know when Engadine went to Manistee, they canceled a bunch of that stuff because of the wind and the weather over there. Newberry's second time out. Engadine will be there. Pickford, Rudyard, Cedarville, DeTour. I know Whitefish Township's sending a few of their students. You'll probably see the Sioux. Might see Sheboygan. This is kind of like the regular season championship type.
Yeah.
Outside of your conference championship meets and then your regional and finals for the state meets. This is kind of the big one. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll be over there snapping some pictures, and we'll have results from that in Wednesday's paper next week.
Very cool. I'll tell you what, we'll wrap this up. I will say that I heard you on another media outlet doing a early morning interview at like 8:30, that's way before you're up.
Prime. Some people might remember that I used to be up and on the air at 6 o'clock in the morning every morning, and those days are past.
Those days, and you have a lot more energy. I mean, we're recording this at 4:02 in the afternoon, so
a lot of it's the host.
Oh wow! All right, all right. You've been listening to Sports Chat from the Newberry News. Have a great weekend.